in, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Gooner Gathering. It's a new week. We're all happy. At least for a minute, anyway. I am Gooner Lee Meads. I am the worst thing that happened to Arsenal Football Club, apparently. Joined by the most poshest man in sports entertainment.
You're not Sebastian Squillaci, Lee.
Am I not? Okay.
No, you're better than that.
Oh, I don't know. He's probably a better defender than I am, but there you go. Posh Bertie, mate, how are you?
Well, I've got there. I've got there today. I'm okay. I'm fine. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Can't complain anything happening today. So
No, we're not playing or anything today, so there's nothing to worry about.
I know, that's why I'm not complaining.
Excellent. That will probably come out in a minute. That's good stuff. And underneath you is lovely Fran. How are you, mate?
Yeah, all right. I'm still so annoyed. I'm so annoyed about just the way the team yesterday. There was no, like, the last half hour, there was no fight, desire. It's as if they weren't playing for anything, and I'm sure we'll get into it. But another 2 points dropped. Yep. Catastrophic.
Absolutely. Well, it's nice to have you here. And underneath me, directly under there, hello, Sam. How are you, mate?
Still a bit annoyed from yesterday, but we move.
Yeah,
I still don't quite know how to feel about it yet.
Okie dokie. Well, here's an excellent comment that's just come in from Arsenal Forever, and I'll put it up before we get started. He says, time for the team to be shown the documentary of 89. It's up for grabs now. And so basically, story is we all me and Posh watched it the other week. Anfield 89. We had to go to Liverpool, and we had to win by 2 goals or more to win the title, right? Prior to that, this doesn't really get talked about an awful lot. Arsenal drew against Wimbledon, which obviously made things very, very difficult for ourselves. And everyone wrote us off saying we haven't got a chance or anything of winning the title. Now, difference is here. After a couple of very disappointing draws, we've got a few more games to get going, albeit some very difficult games, and I'm sure we'll get into it. But we have a little bit of time, and football's a very strange game. So I'm going to throw it over to the panel. We'll sort of go clockwise, and Posh, as you were on broadcast with me yesterday, after about 24 hours of time to thinking about everything, how are you feeling today about general?
It's no coincidence that myself, Sam, and Fran are all wearing black today. As a look, obviously we didn't lose, which is I guess the main benefit. And look, I last season, and you know this, Lee, I regularly got angry about our performances last season. You may have seen in various Discord servers we were in. I used to rant a lot.
Mm-hmm.
The fact it's taken until April for me to feel like that again is an achievement in itself, to be honest. But I can't remember. I mean, I've not been this angry and this disappointed and this depressed about an Arsenal result in a while, probably since last season. And that was during the Tottenham game last season. And the Newcastle game last season as well. But yeah, it started off so brilliantly. By the way, I appreciate you for making me look like a right idiot with the "it's too easy" short you did. I really appreciate that. Hello, Mr. B for life. Good to see you.
Mr. B.
All right, I've got it. There we go.
Thanks, mate.
And but yeah, turns out it wasn't.
I couldn't help myself. Sorry, Posh.
Turns out it wasn't too easy because I said when the 2 goals were scored, hang on, let's contain ourselves a bit.
You
Because
get
against Liverpool, we were 2-0 up early on, and we drew 2-2. And you know, obviously nobody wants to see an Arsenal fan be level-headed. That doesn't get any views, as we all know. So I can understand that sentiment on what you did there. But no, we give away a silly penalty. Partey, and it's very rarely he makes those mistakes. He gives it away to Declan Rice. I think Paqueta got fouled by Gabriel. And yeah, penalty. And since then, it just was a different performance from us. We weren't good. We did not look like we were up for any fight. And then is there an echo in here?
Is there an echo in here?
Oh, my voice there. Bukayo Saka sadly missed a penalty, and which, you know, I as much as I love Saka, I don't think it was his best game today, I'm afraid, and that doesn't just include the missed penalty, which is sad to say because Saka is the most beautiful man on God's green earth, but you know, that's a shame. I'll let I'm rambling too much. I'll let other people speak about it.
Okay, well, let's go to Fran next.
Yeah, because since I've got to go at about 15 minutes, unfortunately, I'll kind of say my bit.
Go for it, mate.
Definitely not Saka's best game. But I think it was just so hugely disappointing. And for me, there isn't no one particular person to blame. It's a combination of bad substitutions, a lot of the players individually just having a terrible time of it. But the most that's fine, okay. But what we've been so praising of the team this season is their ability to bounce back from setbacks. You know, having that fighting spirit that fans just long to see. And that was the most disappointing thing today. There's no excuse for them after they equalised. For the final 40 minutes of the game, we just looked aimless, kind of half committed, which was really the most disappointing thing for me. And there's no excuse for it because obviously we're not in any other competitions. They've had a week break. I can't explain it. It's so disappointing. Yeah, on to you guys. There's just too much to say. But to counter everything about how horrible the result was, we can still win the league.
Yeah.
We can still do this. It will need some flying by the seat of the pants moment, squeaky bum time, maybe Man City unexpected result. It could still happen, and I'm still willing for it to happen. This is just a huge setback and very annoying. But maybe this was meant to happen in order that we can get one of our famous rebounds in the games that really matter. So that's my positive take.
Thank you very much indeed. So Sam, this. Do you know what? I just saw him do this. Right, here we go.
Of course, Sam.
Honestly, in the short of it, I think we've gone from it being completely in our hands to not being in our hands anymore, if that makes sense. We've pretty much gone to a point behind them, which is crazy to say how far we've been at times. Because if they win the game in hand, they'll be a point behind us. And if we turn up like we did yesterday against them, I'm not being funny, we'll lose 5 or 6-0. Because as soon as we conceded that weak, mindless kind of stuff came back again. Yeah, it's just so annoying because you just think that things are going to be different every time, and they're just not. It just seems like we haven't learned anything from the week before either. Normally, when we kind of drop points this season, anyway, we've kind of bounced back from it, but we kind of haven't. Just allowed the pressure on ourselves again, if that makes sense.
It was a stinker. But now, in some sort of sense, like the disappointment has happened, like everyone's saying we've already bottled it and stuff, there's almost like somewhat less pressure. Maybe now they can go out and just like do some really good performances, and hopefully that's kind of what Arteta's saying, about it, in the hope that obviously we can still do it. But yeah, hugely disappointing. Sorry to cut in. I didn't really even have a point. Fuming.
Yeah.
Do you know what? I had never seen my panel since we started this channel as angry as I am seeing these guys right now. So I suppose this is the point where I go, is it?
Yes.
So I've got to turn a complete right. I can't believe they went and done this. I don't do that. But what I will say is it was incredible how that we started a game so positively, almost too well, if you like, and it sort of certainly looking back on it a little bit, certainly felt that we got a little bit complacent. As Posh was saying to us a minute ago, you know, we blasted into a 2-goal lead, and all of a sudden they dropped about 5 gears, and the second the penalty was given for the Hammers, all that momentum, it was just like the previous week, just slightly different in that we were at Anfield, we had the clash point with Xhaka and Trent, then all of a sudden all the momentum went, and then Liverpool go up the other end and score just as I just about finished describing the whole incident. It was very much the same. It's like we gave away a stupid foul, they put the penalty away very nicely. I feel terrible for Bukayo Saka, but and there are a whole heap of issues which we probably should cover as Mr. Arsenal podcast. It's almost like you kind of knew what I was going to say here, I think, because I've seen it. I'm sure my panel has seen it as well. Absolutely horrendous. We won't publicise and we won't go in all the details about it, but very similar to what happened to Bukayo over the when he missed the penalty, or the penalty got saved, however you want to say it, in the World Cup. Was it World Cup or European Championships? European Championships. Yeah. He was subject to some horrific stuff on Twitter today. I know a lot of our community have reported this particular person. You wonder what goes into the psyche of someone who would produce something like that. It's almost like they want to provoke a reaction. Now, I reported it too. I haven't reposted it. There are other people who did, and they deal with it in their own kind of way. It's very similar to the incident that happened to me. I don't want to bring it up, but someone literally yelled abuse at me for me wearing my hoodie, which I'm so proud of, made by that lovely young lady down there. But
is it just me that? Oh, where's Lee gone?
I'm here.
Is it just me that kind of thinks though? It's literally every single time anything like this happens, it's just literally Twitter. Like it genuinely is. Is anybody else kind of seeing that every time something like this happens, it just generally is Twitter?
Twitter is just it's a cesspit. It's awful. Like
I don't go on it often.
I just put one football opinion on there, and people were saying like I had just, it was not like great speech, but just like horrible stuff, just reposting saying, oh, this person has got like stupid takes, low IQ, and just like I just can't. But
similar happened with me as well. All I said was edu bad, and like I get tons and tons of like.
Yes. I just said like this like. I'm sorry, but this is on the Cronkies for not doing better in January, and people were retweeting, sharing, quote tweeting. Oh my god! Like I'm just not going on there anymore. But the Saka thing, it's just absolutely despicable. It should be crunched down on by Twitter. The fact that it's even allowed to be up before. So something like that can stay up. When I got my account got deactivated for 2 weeks for using an embarrassed like monkey emoji for an unrelated like tweet.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's just an absolute joke. I was going to say something else about it, but I think we can all agree, just horrendous. I can understand. I was going to say, sorry, I can understand. There's a real different. No way! Oh, thank you. No way.
I will do that very soon.
Oh, thank you very
Absolutely,
much.
you must.
Thank you so much. I'll get that sorted for you right away. Anyways, so there's a real difference between criticizing players and talking about football and personal abuse and attacks. And I think, people just see any criticism of a player and they go, "Oh my god, like you're abusing them! Like stop being so negative about them." Whereas there's a difference between constructive criticism of the footballer and then these horrible, vile, illegal attacks. Just not on.
Absolutely.
I do actually think it's a bigger problem as well, though, because people just almost know that they can kind of put whatever they like on Twitter and they're going to get no repercussions from it. It's almost like people know that they can go on there and just post exactly what they want.
Yeah.
And there's going to be no consequence for it.
Absolutely. I think we'll sort of move on from this a little bit. I've just put the Fran's address in the comments for a wonderful site for getting her stuff. Skolartso.com. I say it all the time because she's just brilliant. So, but I'm going to keep it there for a minute. So we've missed our penalty. Then Bowen goes to scores an equaliser. I want to get your views about how we responded or not, and maybe tactical sort of changes that Arteta did during the match. So to try and get back into it, and it just didn't work. I guess is my feelings, and I want to know your sort of feelings about taking certainly Partey off very early, Jesus off early. So go around from Posh, Fran, Sam again, please.
So I'm going to be more surprisingly lenient with the fact about him taking Jesus and Partey off early. Jesus, because is he still not properly fully fit and he can only play a certain amount of minutes? I don't know. It was encouraging to see him play about 80 minutes against Liverpool. But we're back to seeing him get taken off. What was it? 60 odd minutes against West Ham? I don't know really. Partey, I'll be honest, just like Saka, Partey did not have his best game today. You saw it when he rather foolishly gave the ball away to Declan Rice, which then resulted in West Ham getting the goal back.
Mm-hmm.
With Partey going off for Jorginho, Jorginho has done well for Arsenal at the moment, but you do know that even though, yes, of course, we won this game, but you saw against Villa, when you have Jorginho and Xhaka in midfield, it slows down a lot. We don't have as much creativity as we used to. And, and Sam mentioned this, I mentioned this as well. Xhaka going off for Jorginho would have probably been the better option. But it happened. And, it wasn't as... I don't know. It didn't result in us losing at all. So I'm pleased with that at the end of the day. But... I don't know. Partey didn't have the best of games, so I can see why he wanted to get taken off. He got taken off, I should say. But one of the more puzzling ones for me was taking off Odegaard and bringing on everyone's favourite Eddie Nketiah. If I was a fly on the wall in Jez Collins' house, I wonder what was going on there. But yeah, I thought that was a bit of a silly substitution there. And I think some of the decisions were wrong. So
fair enough. I know there's some background noise my end. I can't do much about that at the moment. My little girl's in the other room, so it's fun and games around this place at the moment. So Fran, I missed some of your stream earlier on because I was actually on the bus. So would you like to tell me your thoughts on what was going on with the team and changes, etc.?
Oh, just there was a real obvious dip in form from a few of our key players. So Partey was giving the ball away like nobody's business. Odegaard a couple of times just hit it out for a throw in. Those three guys who are such and Saka was really not on the boil after he missed the penalty. Especially, it looked like he just didn't want to be on the pitch. Totally understandable. Those three are very key players for us, and when their level drops a little bit, that's going to affect the confidence of the whole team. And I was really calling for Saka to come off earlier, Partey to come off earlier. The substitutions that he made, well, minus Jesus coming off, the Saka and Partey off, great, should have happened. Well, Saka didn't even come off, did he? And not until right at the end. Well, Saka should have come off instead of Jesus, because Jesus looked like he was the only one that was actually close to scoring. A minute or two before he was subbed off, he was like an inch away from scoring a little tap in. So absolutely insane that Jesus was taken off. He's come back from his injury with a point to prove, looking so hungry. And Saka was completely the opposite. Like, his head had gone. Partey's head had gone. I approved of bringing Jorginho on, who did actually manage to stabilise the game, but Partey should have come off sooner. I think it's unbelievable that Saka was left on. Like, not even because physically he was tired, but mentally, like, to play on when you're in that headset is like really, really unpleasant. So yeah, not cool. But I can understand leaving Saka on so he can try and redeem himself. But sometimes you just have to read the room and go like, nah, like, and protect your player a little bit. Just like put him out of his misery. Like, come on, Saka, it's okay. So,
it's almost like saying, not today, mate. It's okay. We'll yeah.
I'm so sorry, but I've got to shoot over to the other stream now.
All right, mate.
We'll catch up for the rest of it. You guys, this has been fantastic. Can't wait for the next one, okay?
Always good to have you on.
Brilliant.
I'm sorry I've been so busy, but I'll try and come on again as soon as possible.
It's always great to have you on, mate. Take care of yourself.
Always great to have you. You guys will always be my home. Okay. All right. Bye,
and
then.
You're always welcome. See you later.
Bye. Bye.
Right. So then there were three. So Sam, we want to sort of round up this the substitutions that did happen. Then I want to go on to Saka's body language prior to the penalty, and then I want to talk about one more thing. There's another new name in there. Eggle Talks Arsenal. Good show, guys, he says. So welcome. Hello.
I don't really know what to say. It was just kind of almost like he ran out of ideas a little bit and just went, oh, let's throw four players on and see how it works. Yeah, it just made no sense. Like, to bring off... made no sense to bring off Jesus. That was the last player. Before we saw it was Jesus that was coming off, that was the last player that I thought would have been pulled off.
Yeah.
So just the shock on my face when that actually happened. I was like, well, makes no sense. One of the people in the team that knows how it is to win the league, knows how it is to win things. Surely you want those people on the pitch when you're against it a little bit. I do also think as well, when we went 2-0 up, there was a certain air of arrogance that we'd already kind of won the game, even though it was 10 minutes in. I don't know about you two, but I kind of think there was like an arrogance of, yeah, this game's finished. We can kind of sit back now. Almost. Because other than that, I can't really describe why we decided to stop playing after we'd scored 2 goals. Because it's almost what we did. We decided to stop bothering.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know if it was complacency. I don't know if it was. I'm struggling to figure it out myself. Did we just run out of steam? I really don't know. But it was really weird how we started so brightly, and we were having a great time after 10 minutes, weren't we, mate?
I know it was it was an absolute party, a Thomas party, if you will. But no, it was a great atmosphere between me and you in the first 10 minutes. It was brilliant. It's worth mentioning before my clip saying it's too easy gets taken out of context again. I did say, hang on, remember Liverpool, and I did warn people, but it's disappointing. It really is, because look, the Liverpool game, I was disappointed, obviously, with that result, but it's Liverpool at Anfield, and compared to our previous results at Anfield, and how I would have a draw would have been fine, not ideal, but fine. But West Ham, who haven't been, with all due respect to them, haven't been that good this season, which is odd, because I mentioned at the beginning they have a great team. I was surprising how they're in the relegation zone. But when I said that, they actually had turned up after when the penalty was scored, and they caused problems for us. And a team that's challenging for the title should not be facing that from a team that's in the relegation places. And that's the frustrating part. Liverpool, I can figure out why, but West Ham is and if this happens against bottom of the table Southampton, then that is when I'm going to say it's over. It's finished.
I kind of think in some aspects it's almost there now, because I don't think, if I'm honest, at this stage of the season, the league champion should be losing 4 points.
Yeah, throwing away a 2-0 lead. Twice.
And throwing away a 2-0 lead twice. Like it, I've almost kind of come to terms with it's now almost out of our hands, if it makes sense, because it just kind of is. I
think Mr. comment. Hang on. Mr. B for life. He's saying, Arsenal aren't used to it. That's why it's new to them, and City have loads of experience of it. I agree. City also have something we lack of, and that's squad depth. They've got, they've got Phil Foden injured, and they can easily replace him. When Haaland was out against Liverpool, it was all right. Put in World Cup winner Julian Alvarez in, and he scored 2 goals against Liverpool. They've got plenty of squad depth. When you have Saliba out and replaced with Rob Holding, yes, who did well against Palace and Leeds, it's when it matters against Liverpool and then against West Ham, it wasn't to be. And I think Nketiah has had his moment. I think his time has come from the heights of January.
The last 2 games have kind of shown how much and how vital Saliba is, because Gabriel looks, without being too harsh on Rob Holding, he can't play out from the back at all.
He's
and
not fast either.
A few times yesterday. So he's actually making, because Rob Holding's there, I think it's actually making Gabriel fairly shaky as well, because he hasn't been at all himself since Saliba got injured and was out. So I think it's almost making Gabriel look a little bit bad, because Rob Holding's not fit to be there. He's just not. But then we've got no other option. It's silly to leave your only option to be Rob Holding and someone that's played a game in the Europa League as your backup option. Like, it's just ludicrous. Like, it just, you can talk about it for days, but nothing makes it make sense.
Well, the point that Arsenal forever makes here is kind of Eddie's fault for not doing enough in the transfer window. Look, we bought Kiwar in. He's not done anything for me.
No idea who he was at the start. He's not set the world on fire when he started for Arsenal or came off the bench, I'll be honest.
I mean, to be thrown in at Anfield the weekend before with that sort of
really
was a terrible experience for him, I would imagine. But there's a new Sarah J in there saying Rob Holding is way too slow, not technically enough. He panics badly. Yeah, I think so. Oh, okay. Yeah, this is important to mention. It's like having a fillet steak at the back, Saliba, and replacing with the can of spam. Comment.
I wouldn't use strong words, really, but but yeah.
I love that. But I was going to mention a couple of things before the comments come in, and my thoughts were there was a couple of things that went through my head, some of which I brought up on Luca AFC yesterday evening late, and kind of thinking game management in terms of or time management, I should say, for Jesus himself, because he is just back from an injury. Maybe, just maybe, he was been given the sort of time frame to work with, say 65 minutes or something, and then we'll sort of get better, so as we go longer and longer with through, like for Friday and then to next week. Maybe it can last longer. I don't know. I'm not a medical person. I'm waiting to see news come out. Hey, this might not even come out until Friday when the match comes in. And this is purely speculation on my part. Thomas Partey definitely did not look himself on yesterday, did he? I'm waiting because he did get replaced early, and that's kind of unusual. I'm waiting to see that. He's pulled a muscle. He's got this injury, and he won't be available for a few weeks. That's purely speculation on my part. So that was kind of my thinking on that one.
Sorry to add on the bad news, but I have also heard that Saliba ain't going to be ready for City today. How true that is, I'm hoping that's complete and utter false.
I think we'll have to wait around this time next week, I think.
Because we're in big trouble if that's the case. Because I really do not fancy holding against Haaland again. That was not fun.
Bring Kiwior in. It's all right.
Again.
Yeah, put Holding and Kiwior at the back against City. Go on. Banter FC, we're back. No.
Come on. What about Emil Smith Rowe? Has to be brought up.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what is going on there, boys. What's going on there? I've even heard some reports. Now, again, I wasn't at the ground. I was merely seeing the same television pictures as my broadcast colleague was. I've heard reports that Smith Rowe wasn't even running up and down the line warming up. What's going on there?
If he's injured again, and this is a take you'll probably hear on TalkSport. It's one of those takes. If he's injured again, I'm sorry, he's the new Jack Wilshere, because he's been injured time and time again this season. That's what I think about this. He's more injury prone than Partey. If this is the case, if this is true, which is annoying.
But if he was injured in any way, he wouldn't have even been sat on the bench. Because they wouldn't even put him on the bench, they'd have taken him out the bench. So, with that
in the
aside,
same way with United playing into the game late, they took out the German midfielder. What's his name? I can't. Thank you, Sabitzer. And he was replaced in the lineup by, I think, Ericsson, if I'm correct, right?
I think so.
So.
I don't know. I know. I think that's the most negative I've been in a comment section of a video ever in my life, as to I was yesterday on the stream. But
I don't blame you.
That's just
angry Arsenal fans equals views. You know this.
To be fair, it has been pretty busy in the chat over there, isn't it? So
it just doesn't make any sense. I remember having this. Thought yesterday, and just thinking, like, why isn't? I think I put something of the like in the chat of 20 minutes to go, 2-2. Why isn't Ødegaard getting everybody together and just going, right, we've got 20 minutes now. You either want to put yourself in the you want to put yourself in the title race, or you want to count yourself out of it. Which one's it going to be? Or something like that. Or just say, look, 20 minutes left. It's 2-2. We either put it in our hands or we don't. Something like get them all together and just, but there was just nothing. It's just, there wasn't anything where he just kind of stood there and kind of went into the background. And just because he's captain doesn't mean that he can't be taken off. Like, I don't see what the harm would have been yesterday. He
was taken off.
He was taken off. It was the last few minutes.
I know.
Right. By that point, I'd switched off anyway. But I don't see why he couldn't have just been taken off and Smith Rowe been put on, because I think that would have been better. Because after our 2 goals, I don't think you saw him touch the ball much more, if I'm honest. And that's not how it should be when you're under the cosh, really.
I think you could probably say that about a lot of our players, actually. It was a dramatic change around in possession, certainly. So I was sort of addressing the comments. There's a couple of things, Sarah J. Yes, well, I think we all see it. We've seen all the comments towards Saka. We did cover it. We covered it about 20 minutes ago. So, but yes, absolutely, we've absolutely condemning everything that went on there. And anyone else really?
She says, "Oh,
little glitch on my phone. Don't worry, I'm good."
But also, wouldn't it have been better? I know I can't change the substitutions, but wouldn't it have been better to take off Saka earlier and put Trossard on, potentially like even at half time, and then take off? If I could do it again, I would take probably Saka off at half time for Trossard, leave it a little bit, and then take Ødegaard off for Emil Smith Rowe. And then after that, I would probably just bring off Partey and put in Jorginho. That would have been my free take, because that just makes sense. Whereas if he wanted Reece Nelson to do something, the poor lad's only been given 2 minutes by the time he got on, so he's not going to be able to do anything. So if you want somebody to make an impact, you need to give them time to get into the game. Yeah, you can't just say have 5 minutes. It just doesn't. That again doesn't make any sense. It was almost like a last-minute panic, wasn't it? Oh, I best do something different. Let's just throw on 2 players.
It doesn't always work like it did in the League Cup game when Nketiah came on off the bench against Norwich to score his very first goal from a corner, his first touch in about 10 seconds. Doesn't always happen like that. Oh God, I've got a good memory. I remember that. So and yeah, as for Trossard, I totally agree with what you just said there. I wouldn't necessarily be surprised to see Trossard make a start on Friday. Yeah, maybe give Saka a bit of a break, because wouldn't it be nice just to give him a little bit of time and get him a little bit fresher? Give him give him a couple of days off, perhaps, and then we'll see where we are for the City game next week.
I always say, I've been saying a lot recently, I fear that Saka is a long-term injury waiting to happen. And I just think, as much as we do need a win, obviously, against Southampton. And I know a lot of people will be like, we need our best players to get a win, but I think Saka needs to have a rest, get Trossard in, that's what I think.
Arsenal forever, saying yesterday's performance was like they've already won the league and this game meant nothing. Yeah, kind of bringing up the complacency thing we were talking about.
I agree with the second part of that comment, because it almost was like that. It almost was like, to this team, it kind of meant nothing, even though it should have meant everything, but it almost like it didn't. I've got the weirdest story that's just happened at the World Snooker Championships.
Well, look, we can divert for a minute. It'll be a nice distraction.
So the World Snooker Championship match between Joe Perry and Robert Milkins was delayed when a protester has jumped on the table. So it jumped on the actual snooker table and released a yellow substance, throwing an orange substance on the table.
Oh, it's an orange substance. Is it one of those like Just Stop Oil people?
It's got a bit
or something. Oh,
I can't show you the picture, obviously, because it's on the Sky Sports app. But yeah, that's just the most bizarre thing I think I've ever seen. Nothing of the like has happened in snooker like that before.
I mean, it's been a weekend of protest.
We want to prevent climate change or whatever. Let's distract the snooker, because that makes sense.
What? It's just anything to just kind of. It just makes no sense. A bit like like us yesterday. Makes sense.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's been a weekend of distractions and protests, doesn't it? But I'm no horse racing expert, but you can imagine you have so many animals. I don't know how many animals were in the race at Andrew yesterday, but can you imagine how unsettling it would be to get to a starting point and then to be delayed? And we know the results of that, unfortunately. But yeah, we're sort of moving away from where we need to be. So, but yeah, thank you for the live update on that. That was bizarre, interesting, and I will look into it later on.
Yeah,
It's a change from wrestling.
Yeah, definitely.
I had to share that because that's just one of the most weird things I've ever seen, I think.
Fantastic. So I want to sort of try and change our set of mind about going to Manchester City as well, because I want to remind you both and everybody who's watching us, City aren't what's the word? They're not untouchable, right? At their own place, especially this season. They've already lost a few, tons of points over this season. There, Brentford game, Mr. B, if you're still there, you'll remember. I think Tony scored the winner there.
You couldn't bet on that happening.
Boom! There you go. There's the short. And Everton went there. I think it might have even been Lampard's Everton, actually, that went up there and got a 1-1 draw. Made it a grey day over there. Football's a very strange game. And I've seen enough of it in my many, many years on this planet of odd results happening everywhere. But, we can't be saying, oh, it's season over, it's all over and done with. Do you know what? I might be saying something different if Southampton turn us over our place on Friday. And let's not forget, Southampton are going to be playing for their lives just like West Ham. Let's not forget, Southampton have come to our place before and done that. We have to, like Arsenal forever says, we must take care of Southampton. We must get that 3 points. That's an absolute no excuses. And I don't even care how it comes about. It could be the scrappiest, most terrible game that we'll ever watch in our lives, which you could probably watch on Gooner Gathering, by the way. If nothing else, I'll do it solo if I have to. But
no, I'll be there. I'll make it to the Southampton game.
It's always great doing them games.
We watch Arsenal, so you don't have to.
You know it. And we're live. But no, so if we don't win against Southampton, it'll mean nothing anyway. But should we get the 3 points on Friday? But let's not forget, City are playing in the FA Cup over the weekend, and then they get to play us. This is that crucial time where we cannot make any more mistakes. Who knows what's going to happen? Saliba still question mark, like we said. The old dodgy back's coming out. I'm saying just people just say, "Oh, just give him a quick injection. He'll be fine."
Yeah, have him play on crutches. We need to just use his crutches to clear the ball.
Just wham like that. Sarah J saying, "Let's hope City get a whole load of injuries." Now,
even if they do, they've got an entire team to replace them.
Here's the thing, like you just mentioned, anything could happen, and you wouldn't want to wish ill on anybody, of course not. But like you said, because they are so strong. If they take Holland out, you've got Alvarez, you've got all sorts of world class players that are sitting on their bench and keeping it warm.
Injured. It's all right. Bernardo Silva, Mahrez.
Yeah,
it's fine.
But here's the other thing as well. I don't want us to go to Man City and say, "Oh, but they had him, and him missing, so that's why Arsenal won." I don't want that. I want the competition. Take the mick out of me. I don't care. I've taken enough out the last 24 hours. So, you can do all your little shorts and you can take all your screenshots of me and put me on other channels. That's absolutely fine. You know who I'm looking at. It's you over there. No, not you, mate. No. I'm looking down the lens. It's the guy over here who's putting all the clips together. But
I don't mind. Yeah, look,
I don't mind that.
I'm a bit, so with the fact he didn't ask us for permission. I mean, if they asked me, I would have said yes. But,
Yeah, absolutely. They did tag us in the thing, though. They did tag us on the video.
That's fine, and it seems to work because we've got decent numbers in the chat. So
It's been good tonight. It's been really good.
But like I say, angry, disappointed Arsenal fans equals ratings. So it's been the motto for years.
Do you know what? We've probably reached that sort of point now where we might want to think about wrapping it up because Leeds are about to play Liverpool in a minute, I believe. Am I right? So we might want to think about exactly. So we'll probably think about heading out in a minute. I'm going to be definitely on Wednesday night for the WSL game, which is Man City against Arsenal. So I don't know if any of you guys want to come in and jump in.
Potentially, I shall keep you updated. I'm not sure yet. Potentially.
Fair enough.
Me.
Sorry, Bert, you go.
Yeah, I agreed with you. I might do that too. I'll keep you updated if I might have a
Absolutely.
look.
Don't worry about not knowing, by the way, because I kind of know my stuff ish.
I just hope and pray that I'm not sat here next Monday, because if I'm sat here next Monday looking like this and speaking like this, then I hate to say it, but it's completely done. At this minute in time, there is a slight part of me that thinks, yes, it's done, but then the other part of it goes, technically it's not, though.
Yeah, it depends on if Man City drop points or not, which I think is the probability is unlikely. But they've got Brighton and Brentford to play. Both are away from home, and there are tough teams to go up against. But us wishing for City to drop points is very wishful thinking because it's Man City and they're brilliant.
To be fair, we've got Sad Sam in the channel tonight. Where's your optimism?
Leave the memories alone.
Like I mentioned yesterday, it's just always you get that little bit of hope, don't you? That's the thing Arsenal are really bad at. You get that little bit of hope and you go, oh, this time might be different. And then there's this last two games and you go, oh no, it's like it was before and it's all finished. So it's just when you've seen it for so long, you just go, well, it's like, honestly, I was speaking to Jade yesterday and I said, honestly, watching Arsenal for the last 15 and 20 years, but between 15 and 20 years, it's like that film Groundhog Day, but every single day. In the film, it's every day for him, but being an Arsenal fan, it is kind of just like Groundhog Day 24/7. Apart from
I get that.
But it's just, it just is.
I agree with that.
Annoying.
Arsenal having tougher fixtures than City. But if it were Premier League is all about a marathon, we all play each other at some point. So we'll see what happens. Before we go, I do want to address a comment I know I missed, and the young lady involved I saw in person again today, Stacey, said, "Hello, Luca, welcome in. We're about to wrap up, mate, but thank you for jumping in."
I missed all of that.
Here we go.
Thank you. Oh, well done. So Stacey says, didn't Arsenal go through this exact same trait back in the early mid 2000s? She's not really followed footy to a T since then. Yeah, you're right. Absolutely. It was it 08, I think? Something along them lines where Arsenal...
Did we win the league in 2008, though?
Nah. Exactly. It's the comparisons are very similar, like we mentioned, I think 08, where we're talking about there, and back end of 89, before all the dramatic stuff happened for that game. So yeah, it's very, very similar. I'm not going to be the one to say when Eduardo broke his leg, we missed out. Yeah, absolutely. And there's not a day I don't really think about that, honestly, because it was so horrific, and it's like a whole season derailed in one foul afternoon in Birmingham. But
Yeah.
this is well, and I quite like the dynamic. I quite enjoyed being on Luca's channel last night because Luca is very much the case of he is the gloom merchant, and I mean that absolutely fondly. That we're not going to win it and all this sort of stuff.
A lot of people during when I tweeted about Edu all those weeks ago, they criticised me for being too negative.
Yeah.
Go and check out Luca's channel. That's all I'm gonna say. You're gonna look at me like I'm Mr. Optimist by then. No, Luca's a great guy, and I say that with all the love in the world.
Absolutely, but Luca's a very passionate guy, and he's very great. He's very good at expressing his anger. He's a very different sort of style presenter to certainly I am. Now, I'll be honest with everybody who's watching still. Yeah, I've got a bit of flack over the last 24 hours. You could probably tell it rattled me a little bit. But I ain't going to change my style and how I see things. I don't do that because this is my baby here, right? This is our baby, and this is what we're nurturing. And I quite like the way that we conduct ourselves here, and that ain't going to change, as far as I'm concerned, anyway. So, hey.
I think you both fully deserve a medal as well for going through yesterday's stream without using any coarse words.
I don't very rarely use any naughty words on this channel because my voice doesn't suit it. My voice doesn't suit swear words, so I can't really,
It's not my style either because I'm a daddy. Yesterday when we did the live, I had Amy in the room right next to me. So look, I might be thinking the words that you guys are thinking. I can't say them, otherwise I'll get strung up by the missus.
Honestly, yesterday it was just I just sat there in silence. I didn't kind of say anything as such. I just sat there in silence because it was just I wasn't even angry. I was just kind of just disappointed. I still am.
That sounds like something my dad might have said to me. Anyway. Well, look, Sarah says I didn't see yesterday's one, but it seems this seems very fair and level-headed. Glad I joined to be here. I can't even talk now. I'm so tired.
Glad I joined this, to be honest.
And we're grateful to have you here, Sarah, and everybody who's around, who's still watching us. Carry on our rambling and our nonsense for nearly 55 minutes or something. Thank you, everyone, for being part of our stream. Thank you for being part of our Gooner gatherers, if you will. I've enjoyed being on here. I was a little bit pessimistic in coming on here today because I'm so tired. But I'm glad we did it. It's been a really good show. I've enjoyed it. Hope the
Can I just say one thing first?
Of course you can.
I know that it's obviously I understand why people are going to be negative and saying the title's over, but the season isn't over yet. And I've not got a wrestling reference in here yet. So we need to believe. We must believe in Arsenal. There you go.
And the boyhood dream could still come true, boys and girls. So
Fingers crossed.
on the wrestling bombshell, which had to come out at some stage, I'm going to put our little banner up here. I'll go to Sam first. Would you like to tell everybody where they can find you? And we'll sign out for the evening.
Yeah, it's probably best I don't say any more about how disappointed I am. So it's Sam Wilson on Twitter, but with the I in Wilson being a number one. I say it different every single time, so there we are.
Posh Bertie, sir, where can they find you?
My Twitter is at Posh Bertie. My Instagram is at Bertie Wanless.
Absolutely. You can find me at Goonerly Meads. You can find us at Gooner Gathering. So I want to say big thank you to everyone who's been watching, and keep your eyes on the channel. Tomorrow I'll probably be diving through the game from Sunday. I'll probably put a few more shorts out, and then we'll be with the live game on Wednesday. I think I set out for 7:10, and following that, we are going to be on for the Southampton game. I think 10 minutes before kickoff. I think I've set it up for. So enjoy the rest of your evening, boys and girls. Enjoy Liverpool versus Leeds, and try not to think about Arsenal for at least 24 hours. Look after yourselves, and we'll speak to you all soon. Take care, everyone.
Bye.